Wow.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to the show.
What's happening?
What's the juice?
How's it hanging? What's the juice of the day?
That's what I wanted to say. You know, I was talking to someone the other day and there was like, I forgot what they said exactly. They said, what's good, Yoni, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, no, it's not what's good, Yoni. It's what's the juice, Yoni.
I mean, do people even say that really?
What's the juice? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want people to say that.
I want me to say that.
But
I always forget to.
Yeah. How you doing today?
You know,
I can't believe it's only 3:00. It feels like it's like 7.
I know it does feel like it's pretty late in the day. It was kind of crazy when you got home earlier. I felt like I did so much and it was just one.
I had a basketball game at...
Soccer game.
No, yeah. I had a soccer game today at 9:30.
I know. You only got up nice and early on a Sunday. That has not happened.
No, wait, what do you mean?
Like, you just don't get up early. You never really get up before me. Like, it very rarely happens.
Yeah. So, you know what's the funny thing? As I was driving to my game, I was thinking, why am I so, like, awake and excited?
And why?
Because I'm going to, like, enjoy myself. I'm going to play a soccer game a full 90 minutes. And I love doing that shit. Mm-hmm. But if I had to be at work at 9:30, I'm running late. I'm driving.
Waking up is a totally different game.
Mad if there's traffic. There was a little traffic earlier today, but I was on time. I was early. I was just having a good time. So I wonder what's happening in my brain that's not allowing me to feel the same way when I go to work.
Because you're not excited to go to work. What you mean? Like...
Yeah, no, I know, but... And I like working there, obviously.
It's still work.
It's still work, yeah. But it's just so different, like going somewhere where you're actually excited to be.
And also you're there for not that long. Like when you go to work, you know that this big whole chunk of time in my day is going towards that.
Yeah. It's like half of your day's gone.
Exactly.
Anyways.
The same way it's, I feel pretty similarly and like don't feel weird about me saying this, but whenever we have to record the podcast and I know I have to listen to the podcast and watch the video and edit it for like 2, sometimes like 3 hours, depending on how long it is.
Also depending on who's doing it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I have to do it, if I have to do it, there's this feeling about like, ugh.
Remember that day you were at the coffee shop and you were like, Yoni, can you please finish this?
Oh my God. What there's just some days I just couldn't do it. It just because, when it's like there's this project or this homework or this thing or task, chore, errand you have to do that's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, editing the podcast is not fun.
Yeah. No, it's not. And also, if you're just wondering, Alia does it when there's other things happening. Normally, I edit the podcast.
Yeah, I think we like share it.
Yeah, now we share it.
Because I don't have my full-time job anymore. I have more time to edit.
Yeah.
So.
And also, it's cool because you taught me how to edit. I appreciate it. I did not know how to use that shit. Yeah, Yoni is
now a video editor.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have like some things you don't know how to do.
Yeah, like all the shortcuts. And if there's like a problem, I have to call you because I don't know how to solve it.
And like you do it a little bit slower.
I do it a little bit slower. Exactly. I mean, you've been doing YouTube for 3 years. I'm new to this shit,
I'm a pro.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever we don't feel like doing it, whenever she doesn't feel like doing it, I do it. And then whenever I don't feel like doing it, Alia takes over. But if we both don't feel like doing it,
it's usually you
I'll probably
that does it.
It would be nice to have like a third person.
But that's also because I always do the reels. Like very often
I'm the
one that goes and cuts the reels and puts them together. So I do all that.
Yeah. The reel I edited last, I did it pretty nicely, right?
Yeah, I did a pretty good job. I have some notes I'm going to give you for that.
The subtitles?
Yeah, just certain things. But I mean, it's, it's good.
Yeah.
But
wait, I want to tell people about my game, actually. I never finished talking about that.
Okay.
I had a basketball game, and I know you don't want me to talk about that, but I'm going to tell people we lost the game. It was 4-1.
Okay.
They scored the first goal,
okay,
and then we scored. I didn't score; it was someone else. But I made the pass, so I had like.
You had part in.
I had part in the goal. Yeah. The goal. To me, it's very important to be a part of the success. Like if I never play and we win, I kind of like feel like I lost. Oh wait, actually, no, that's not true. Let me take that back.
Actually, no, I would kind of feel.
I'm a team player, but I love to be a part of the win.
Yeah,
If I'm just on the bench the whole time and we win every game of the season.
You didn't win. Like, you won, but like...
And then we win the championship. We won, but I didn't do anything. So am I going to pretend like I'm happy? I'm happy for the team.
It's the same way if we play a board game, or like if we're playing like some type of group game and there's teams.
Group game?
Like a game that is like in a big group.
Okay.
And every time it was my turn, I like really fucked up. But then my team still won. I still feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, even I can't be like, yes, because
like
I think it's kind of embarrassing for me to be really happy about us winning when everybody knows that when it was my turn, I really didn't do a good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a question I ask my friends a lot. It's like if you're a part of a team,
Yeah.
and you win the whole season or whatever game you're playing,
Yeah, I mean, most people don't just play. Like,
and you never contributed, are you genuinely happy? I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that happy at all. You know?
Yeah.
Are we good on the levels or? Like,
Yeah,
what's
it
going
just
on
looked like it was a little bit loud, so I just want to make sure we're all good.
there? I'm not yelling in people's ears. Okay, Alia, the engineer. We're just gonna take a second.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to, because, you know, sometimes you just, when we actually talk, it gets louder.
People tell me that they like it when it's actually louder because then you can always turn it down.
Yeah, but it gets like, this is important to be like this. So
Okay, Ali.
I am an engineer and video editor and creator.
So that was my morning. I was very excited. I lost the game. I felt shitty. I didn't even score. If I
Yeah.
scored, at least I would have been like. Anyways, off of the soccer. Nobody
yeah, I'm like
cares
ready
about.
to talk about the topic.
I can
you
tell.
know?
I can tell. You were just like, yo, you know what's funny about Ali? Sometimes when I talk about something that I want to introduce to the people, Ali gives me this look. And I appreciate you because you let me go. But sometimes you're just looking at me like.
Yeah, because I really don't want people to be like, Alia, let Yoni talk, even though sometimes
That used to happen a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's still, there's moments, but I just want to get into the topic.
Okay.
Because it's a good topic.
Okay.
So welcome to the What's the Juice pod, everyone. This is where the intro music comes in. Should I sing it?
No. How would you even sing it?
I wouldn't. Anyways, I am one of your hosts, Alia Zaitsa.
And my name is Yoni Kodo, and today we're talking about something that's very personal to me. I feel
And
like I say that.
very-
You know what's funny? Whenever we have a good topic, I'm like, I feel like it's very personal
It's
to me.
so deep to my life.
It is important. It is a big part of my life. It's
I'm
actually
actually-
the reason why I'm here.
I mean,
Like literally.
I wouldn't say me too.
Why are you like rocking back and
No, because I'm
forth?
trying to think if that's me too. I don't know. When we were thinking about this, I was like, risks. Like, what risks did I take in my life? Because sometimes there's decisions you make that in the moment don't necessarily feel like risks, but then you look back and you're like, damn, what was I thinking? But like, I'm here now, you know?
No, I feel like when you take a risk, you know you're taking a risk.
Not
a
when you're a
risk
kid.
is not just okay, but
When you're a kid, risks are not the way.
when you're a kid, like how old were you when you felt that?
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
I think we need to give people the definition, or like get into just what is considered risk. Taking a risk. What does it mean?
Yeah.
So, just like the internet definition of
Are you on
risk.
Webster?
Huh?
Go to Webster. Webster
No,
has
it's Google's fine.
okay. Google has the answers.
A risk means a situation involving exposure to danger,
Oh shit.
exposing to danger, harm, or loss.
Oh, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah. Future uncertainty about deviation from expected earnings or expected outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So in simple words, it's basically being scared of like fucking up.
yes, and deviating or like going off of the secure, comfortable path or position or place you're in.
Where there's no challenges, where you're just good. You know that if I just can continue, my life will be good. There is no
And not necessarily that my life will be good, but my life will be the same. You know what I mean? Because you can take a risk
will
when
be
your
the
life is
same.
like fucked up.
That's why you better take a risk.
I know. But what I'm saying is like your life doesn't have to be good to take a risk. Taking a risk simply is like, I'm in this place right now and I am going to get off of this place by doing something that potentially will fail and potentially will fuck up my life.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Okay, not that extreme, but like will potentially not work out. There's a very high probability that it's not going to work out, and that it could turn out to be worse than my life is right now. It's possible.
Yeah, so you could end up losing what you had at home.
Yeah. And risk to me, I would say after like the 24 years of life. I'm not 24 yet. I'm about to be 24 in like 2 months. But for me, risk is something that I'm actually quite familiar with.
Oh my God, really? I'm so familiar with.
Why did you say it like that? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't even mean it in like a. I don't know. Did that sound like fucked up?
No, I don't know. It was just a natural thing I wanted to say.
Okay, well.
I'm just so familiar with risk, you know?
It does sound like who the fuck says that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just mean that in my life, looking back on everything that I've done done a lot of what some people might consider risky things because it wasn't playing safe in general. You know, from like when I was a kid, deciding to like move away, but that was also not entirely up to me.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to be like an adult risk that nobody advised you on.
I know, but I'm also thinking back, even as a kid, the fact that I didn't think, I wasn't scared one bit.
I feel like it was more like a risk on your parents than you.
Yeah, but isn't it crazy how when you're a kid, the idea of risks is just, it's so like minute.
Yeah, because you don't, okay, tell the people what you did.
Okay, so if you don't know my life story, basically what happened was when I was 12, my family and I migrated to, not migrated, immigrated? Yeah, immigrated?
No.
Migrated?
Migrated.
Okay. Sorry if I'm wrong. Immigrated. Whatever.
No.
We basically moved from Romania to the US, and we got like, permanent residency here. And the whole family moved here, and that was like always a dream growing up. But then right before that move, I went to Canada and I did this like dance intensive for 3 weeks and was accepted at this Canadian ballet school full time with like full scholarship.
That's a big deal, by the way. It's not no like easy shit. She went to like this prestigious ballet academy.
It's just school. You don't have to say academy.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know Alia, she's like a professional, like a ballerina. She can do like, you see her here on your YouTube and podcast, but she has a whole other skill.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have it anymore. Like I haven't danced ever
and
since
she doesn't show it, and she doesn't like
talk about it.
But I'm telling you, like this girl is she can jump in the air and literally do a split midair.
I don't know if I can still do that, but
I'm just saying that's like
that's what I was doing at the time. Yeah. Anyways, so the risk was that basically I went when I was 12. My whole family moved here, and it's like a whole culture shock, life-changing moment. And then we moved our entire life to Seattle, and then I moved a month later to Toronto, Canada, by myself, and lived in a dorm.
Which one of you guys spoke English?
Which one of my family?
Yeah.
I mean, I think like I knew the least. My mom, my mom knew the least, and then I was second to that. And then I would say like my dad, my brother, my sister knew the most because they like learned it in school, stuff like that. I learned some things in school.
You learn English in Romania?
In Romania, yeah, of course. Yeah. But basically what I'm trying to say is like, I was not scared one bit when I went to Canada, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't really know. My English was really bad in terms of like grammar, pronunciation. Like it was bad.
You had a heavy accent?
Yeah, but I could talk. Like there was some things that I knew how to say. I wasn't just 100% like I didn't know anything, but still like everything was fucked up. It was hard for people to understand what I was saying, because I would formulate sentences wrong. So what I'm basically, my point is...
Wait, I have a question before. Don't forget your point, please. But how did you feel when you knew your English wasn't as good? Were you confident speaking to other people?
It got to a point where I actually wasn't confident. Like at the very beginning, I kind of was like, I don't give a fuck type. And I just was saying whatever. But then...
Did you feel insecure at some
other
point?
kids started making me feel insecure.
What would they do?
No, they would just be like, I don't know what you're saying, or like I don't understand anything you just said, or things like that, and then I would be like, I mean, I don't know Because it's so crazy.
Man.
Like, little Alia just didn't know how to explain anything. But then and then there was other kids that just told me, you know what, like, screw that. Even if you say it wrong, just say it and just talk.
Yeah, just say that
even if
shit.
it's wrong. And then I, for some reason, was like, all right. And then I just kept talking. And then eventually I obviously learned English.
How did you lose your accent? Because I feel like I never lost my accent.
Because I learned English not through necessarily like school, grammar, things like that. I learned it by just constantly listening to other people and the way they say things. So I often just imitated the words and the sounds.
I have a similar story.
You know what I mean? So it was like I added meaning and then like the sound of the word. So I just started pronouncing it the way that they did. And that's it. But then when, for example, sometimes like I'm talking and my mom asks me, why do you say, sometimes the order of words gets confusing between like Romanian and English, because you would do it backwards, just the way you would say like, what time is it? You would say what time it is in Romanian.
What time it is.
So, but all
I feel
those
like people
types
in
of,
America say that.
but all those types of things I learned like as like a musical thing.
Yeah.
And then my mom didn't learn it like that. So and I don't know. That's just like how I learned. But basically what I'm saying is when I was young, I was absolutely just not scared of going by myself, leaving. Because I didn't understand. That's the thing. I didn't understand the consequences.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
What would be a consequence?
I mean, if let's say I went to Canada and then I failed and
So what would be what would be you failing in Canada?
Basically, like I wasn't good enough and I didn't get accepted the next year. Because you have to get reaccepted into the program every year.
The ballet program.
The ballet school, yeah. So if that didn't happen, that's a fail right there, you know. And then I would just have to go home. And like obviously that was something I don't know. And the fact that I was growing apart from my family and dad took a strain on our relationship even to this day, I would say. I don't know. I just think even when you were 16 and you left Belgium and you came to Atlanta, it's like you were older than me, but still for some reason it didn't feel that scary, right?
I was, so there was a element of fear that I felt, but I was always more excited
than
to
scared.
go. So my excitement really overshadowed my fear. Like I was like, I'm gonna be, going to school, playing basketball, and I also wasn't totally by myself. I was with my friend Renato. Shout out to my friend Renato.
Shout out to Renato.
He's in Belgium, and so that was like my person that I could always like. We were always just together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's
you
like weren't by yourself.
No, I wasn't. And even though like I got close to some of the teammates that we had, like me and Renato, we were like in the same. We had dorm rooms, right?
Yeah.
So he was my roommate, and then like a couple other guys. I don't know, and it was just cool to have someone like we come from the same place, and we had like this ambition, this dream that we want to, go to school and just do that whole high school basketball experience.
I just think it's beautiful that as a kid, that's why I think it's important to tap into that inner child that everyone talks about nowadays. With as a kid, risks don't scare you as much, and because in a way you kind of don't understand them and like their consequence and etc. But also as a kid, you're constantly like you don't have the boundaries that as an adult everything sort of starts to have boundaries on it and sort of starts to shrink, and it shrinks your dreams, it shrinks your imagination, it shrinks your creativity, because there's all these added I guess like limitations on everything, such as society, culture, expectations from parents, from this, from that. And the older you get, the more those like actually cut into all those childlike things.
Yeah.
So what would you say the biggest risk in your life that you've ever taken was? Wow, I said that so like backwards. What was the biggest risk of your life?
I would probably say truly following photography and saying that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I remember the day I put photographer on my Instagram bio.
That's when it felt real.
That's for some reason, like if you just put something in your Instagram bio, like
It affirms it.
obviously you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And you have to like actually, but to me it's like, and it took me a while to even do that. And even though like I already knew for months that photography is what I wanted to do, I was like, I was almost like,
Wait, were you already doing it?
yeah, I was already doing it, just shooting with my iPhone, you know, the iPhone 15. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, throwback.
And I was just walking downtown Seattle, just shooting with my iPhone, buildings, and I was really like inspired by this thing. That's way before I even was shooting people. So I think that was a risk that I took, just deciding, because I was done with school, and I was like, okay, what's next? You know. After graduating with my 2-year degree, I was like, you know, that's right around the time when basketball, like, I was like, okay, you know what? It's done for basketball.
Yeah.
It's fine, because I found this new thing. I always wonder, like, if I didn't find photography, how would I feel about like basketball not working out, quote unquote, you know?
Because you didn't have, like, you had something else that was giving you that excitement. And that there was like a little dream, feeding the dream.
Yes. And I was totally okay with just not playing basketball anymore. I was more excited with photography than I was with basketball in a weird way.
No,
which basketball was the whole reason why I came here.
Yeah.
You know, but I think
it's just how it lined up.
And you know what's crazy is because I was so not confident, but I was so excited to do photography and learn it, and just drop everything and just decide to go full time. I mean, I just mean like all my focus would just be on photography, not knowing if it's gonna work out, not knowing that like what are some career options that I have with photography. I was just like, I'm just getting addicted to taking photos, and I was taking photos every day.
So would you say, were you scared? Like, did you have fear? Did you give yourself time to even think about like the outcome of this potential risk-taking moment of like, I'm going to go towards this thing that just recently in the last year or so, like, started becoming something. And then now this whole dream of basketball has ended. And then I have this whole other thing that I'm going to go towards and try to achieve. But it's like, it's very unfamiliar. And it's also this type of career that it's kind of, it's very hard. Unconventional. And there's like no safety in it. And it's like, how to even figuring out like, okay, so how do people make money off of this? Like, were you thinking about all that?
I wasn't thinking about that in the beginning. Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that because I just wanted to learn first. So I wanted to learn, like, there's so many people that I followed on Instagram just to learn from. I was like, okay, what kind of, like, anytime I saw like film photos, I thought that they would put like a filter on the photo. Like, I remember when I didn't know how to get the background blurry.
Yeah.
You know,
the bokeh?
Yeah. Like, I didn't know that you got to get a specific lens to blur out the background. But and
like, how do you blur it out? Like, what aperture do you use?
What lens do you even do? I didn't even know. So I would like.
So you're just very curious about it.
Yeah. So I was taking photos, and then I would like manually like blur out the background in the photo. Because I thought that's how you get the background blur. But then it would never look as good as their shit.
Right.
But
that's so funny.
Yeah. But then I remember figuring out, okay, you got to get, you know, a low aperture camera. You know, like the lower you go in the numbers, the more. Yeah. Yes. The lens. The lower you go in the number, the more blurry it'll be. If you want to get everything in focus, you got to go higher on the number.
Yeah.
And I remember just finding that out. I was like, oh, that like sparked a whole different thing. I was like,
because you were like, damn, wait, there's like so much that I actually don't know too.
Yes. And I'm still learning all the time. You know, I'm just now getting into actual like film photography. So I think just taking that risk to me.
Yeah. What do you think? Well, it's just interesting how you weren't really, because I think a big part of taking a risk is it feels risky because there's fear of failing. So would you say that you just didn't really have that? Like that wasn't really in your mind?
No.
How come you think that's...
I don't know. Like this is actually the first time that I think about it, but I'd never, in 2015 is when I started that. Even before I even have my actual camera, I wasn't thinking about failing.
That's great.
I was thinking about how can I get better and how can I do this? And also, mind you, I didn't have any other plan.
Yeah.
Because basketball was the one thing.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. I was like, this is it. I have a brain to understand things. I have the passion and I have like the just straight up like
work ethic?
will.
Oh, will.
To learn this. And it was hard for me to just even imagine what it would be like if like this, like how can this not work out? If I work on it every day, it's hard for me to think about, there's no way. Like if you work on something every day, how can you like really
And I'm
fail?
also thinking maybe like I'm just assuming, but maybe it was also a little bit of not getting so far ahead of yourself. Because I think sometimes we do that where we get so far ahead of like just, okay, I'm making this decision that I'm going to start doing this thing that is new, it's risky, it's still unfamiliar, but I know I really like it and I really want to do it. And then you kind of just go and you're at that step. Compared to sometimes we might look at something similarly, but then we take it 10 years down the line. And we take it 10 years down the line with all possible situations that and like paths and like obstacles and things, and we start to look at it in this like huge big picture. It could go this way, it could go this way, it could go this way, and you kind of are getting ahead of yourself. It's like you're just getting started. You have no idea what can happen and what else is going to happen and who you're going to meet and who you're going to not be friends with anymore. Like so many different, even in your personal life, things that can happen in your personal life that can deviate you off of the path.
Yeah.
So you have no control over those right now. You don't know what's going to happen. So I'm thinking maybe you didn't even think about it that far ahead and you were just like, this is where I'm at right now. I have this in front of me and I'm going to do this. And that's it. And you didn't take it so far to where now it's becoming.
I didn't want to
I
didn't want to overwhelm myself.
Exactly.
But it wasn't even necessarily like, it wasn't even a thought in my mind like, oh, I don't want to overthink it or overwhelm myself, so I'm not going to think about it. I just wasn't thinking like that at all. And some people say that's like irresponsible or like, how can you live like that, you know? But to me, I think if I had doubt in my mind, I wouldn't have kept going with it because doubt is something that scares you and keeps you from like doing things, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that's before I had a camera. And then when I got the camera, it was a whole different ballgame. I got more excited. And then when I moved out of my mom's house, I was just doing that, paying rent. Like I was charging like $50.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many $50 shoots do I need to have to pay my rent? Yeah. Literally. And I would do that every day. And I feel like sometimes like just thinking about it, like I miss those days. When I say I miss those days, I'm glad, like I don't actually miss those days.
Yeah.
But I just remember it was such a precious time in my life because I was really like on my lowest, you know?
Yeah, and that's the when we met.
That's when we met, you know. I was staying in this like small ass room. I was like, I'm gonna find a room. And also like I just needed the freedom. Yeah. I just needed the freedom to come home whenever I want to. I just needed the freedom to like just really do what I want. If I need to go, I used to shoot at clubs a lot, you know, and that requires, so I didn't want to like.
Yeah, and that it's in itself is like a point where you just have to get out of the comfort of like, you could have stayed living with, you know, your mom at the time, but you were like, for the goals that I have, I need to get uncomfortable. I need to get unsecure and go from there.
And just knowing that at the end of each month I have to pay rent, you know, and And that really put some fire on my ass.
Yeah.
That's what I say in the other episode, in the other reel. Like, I needed that oh shit in my life, you know?
Oh, yeah, I remember
like that was that moment for me. Like, I was like, and you know, I'm going to be honest too, like some months I didn't make rent.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have, and my mom also, she always helped me.
Yeah.
She always brought me like, you know, groceries. If I was like, even if I did have some, she would pull up with the car, just like hella groceries, you know?
Yeah.
And that really meant like a lot to me, and it really like helped me out, you know?
Yeah.
And I never wanted to tell her like if I didn't have something, you know?
Yeah,
like,
no, I get it.
And my friends helped me out too, like, you know, Ian, Andre, Abdul, like Ricky. Like I had like my 4 friends that were, I was the only one who was kind of going to like something like that.
Yeah.
And also you too, you know, and this is when we just met.
Yeah. Which, you know.
You know, you didn't judge me. You were like, why are you staying in this small ass room?
A little bit.
I know this is, but most people would be like, why is this guy?
But then, you know, I was like, I saw through it because also I was like, we're just getting to know each other. Like I didn't look at it as his life is going to affect my life in a sense, you know, which I think that's how people view the older you get. I was pretty young too. But when you're older, those kinds of things matter a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, my biggest risk it's funny because I'm trying to think of like the biggest risk after I just said I'm like really familiar with risks in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say a risk that I can think about is
I feel like dating me was a risk.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but
What?
No, I would say probably just when I decided to get off of my path towards becoming a ballet dancer professionally and going in a different direction. And that was a risk because I could have definitely kept going, kept training. Like there's always a way to keep doing that and like try next year and try to find a job next year. I could have done that. There's people who I finished school with or the program with and they did that.
Oh, really?
You know, people kept dancing, trying to like figure it out, trying to make it.
Didn't you tell me that you had there's also an option to like go dance at a company out of state?
Of course, you can go dance anywhere. You can go dance anywhere in the world. But I had specific goals. So I had like certain limitations on myself of like where I would want to go. But anyways, so I would say like I took the risk in a sense of going towards the unfamiliar and in a way uncomfortable because I didn't know who I was without dance. I didn't know what life was outside of that ballet bubble because I never was out of it. I've been in it since I was 4. So when I forget how old I was, 19, 20? Mm-hmm. When I was 20, it was time. But I could have kept going, which would have been like the familiar and in a sense the secure because the path towards what I was trying to go to is very clear and was really clear. But I was just like, had to be very honest with myself and face reality. And it was like, it's time to go towards, in a way, something that's actually relatively more secure is like, okay, it's time to go to college. It's time to figure out your life. I'm sure my dad was very glad that that was the path I was taking.
Oh, really?
Because in a sense, it's more secure than being a dancer. And like, you can pretty much lose your job anytime. And like your season can come to an end whenever. And your career is up until 40 if you're lucky, like any other athlete. And then after that, what are you doing with your life? Like, you know? So
do people if you have a very successful ballet career, mm-hmm. What do people do after they dance?
People usually go in very various directions, but none of them are very, like, in my opinion, I wasn't looking forward to that.
Okay.
You know, it's like you're either a teacher and you teach young people and young kids, or you like very random, and it very much depends. And that's not nobody, like when you're a dancer, you're not excited about anything after 40. You're excited for those like 20 years of dancing. And after that, whatever happens after is kind of like random, you know? But yeah, I would say that's like the biggest risk I've taken.
Do you regret it? Are you happy you did that?
No, I'm so happy. I'm so happy now of where I am in my life compared to I mean, the thing is, what's funny is eventually it would have ended up in the same place, because right when I decided to move on from dance, COVID hit that very next year. So even if I would have, let's say, not done that and kept trying, despite everything, COVID would have come, and then I would have not been able to dance. Yeah. And basically the ballet world, like many other worlds, just like stopped. So it was kind of inevitable, even if I stayed or not. Yeah. But I like the fact that I decided, and it wasn't decided for me. Yeah. Which made a big difference, and it made me stronger in my choice. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So what about? I would say risk can be. I think we talked about risk in like job, career specific, but I think there's many other times in your life, in different areas in your life, where taking risks is really scary for people. Yeah. And one of them, I think, would be relationships. Just taking risk when it comes to relationships. And I also think this is very circumstantial. But one person could say, I took a risk when we met in staying in relationship with you, because you're taking the risk of like opening your heart up to being with somebody and being in a relationship with somebody, catching feelings, falling in love, all of that. Being vulnerable. Yeah. And once you open your heart that way and you fall in love and you create this bond with somebody, everything that now you're linked, and everything that person's going through in their life automatically affects you. Yeah. And then like think about so many people's lives would be my life would be so different if we've never met. Your life the same. It's very different. Relationships, especially romantic relationships, have a huge impact on your life path.
Yeah, I think when we met, if you guys don't know the story, we met on Tinder 4 years ago. I didn't look at that as a risk because in the beginning we didn't know we were going to be together.
Yeah, I mean, I knew.
Yeah, Alia knew. She was just like, you just watch, we're going to be together and we're going to do this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a vision or something.
And I was like, all right.
But whatever you say.
But I liked it because no one ever told me that.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, who says that?
I've never even heard that.
Especially when like I clearly could tell you didn't want me to be your girlfriend. But I was like, you're just playing. You're just late. You guys,
Alia literally said, Yoni, I don't know what you think this is going to be.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're going through right now. It's taking you so long to like see that this is going to be a thing, but we're going to be together.
And she fucking knew that shit. And
I was right.
Like, how?
I have no idea.
That's so like, Ian always tells me like,
I don't know.
I think whenever we talk about that specific thing, he's like, that's something very special for someone to tell another person that's not into them. Because usually it's like, you're trying to find your way. You're trying to be the best.
I knew you were into me. You were just going through something. I don't know. You had your own shit that you were letting.
No, it was just too early for me, you know?
Nah.
I wasn't ready after like.
Okay, that's what we're talking about right now. But yeah, so I think
that's funny.
There's other situations when it comes to relationships of taking risks, such as like taking the risk to break up. It's like after you've been together for a long time, and let's say things are not necessarily bad, but they're also not necessarily good. And you know that your life could be better and happier with somebody else.
Yes, but you've been with this person for so long that
you've created a life together.
And let's talk specifically before kids, okay?
Okay.
Let's talk before kids. You're with this person for 10 years.
It doesn't have to be 10 years.
Babe, no.
It can be like 4 years.
Let's use extremes. 10 years. How do you break up with that person that you're actually no longer happy with?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're even married.
Yeah, you're so used to each other.
And
your financial life is good. It's just all together in one pot, and you're safe, and you know that you have a home with this. But you're not excited. He or she is boring. You just don't have that spark. I'm not saying that the spark should remain for the rest of your life,
or like the same amount of it.
But you gotta have some type of
something.
Because even like with you, for example, I never want to get to the point where like we just live with each other and we feel like we just like
coexist.
Like I don't want to feel like we're roommates. You know, but I feel like some people are in relationships like that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, you have to take that step and go your separate ways. Because at the end of
You
the
don't
day,
think you can work on it? You can work on it.
after 10 years, if you feel
Okay,
like
I don't know why
it's
we're stuck
really-
on the 10 years because I feel like this can happen even at...
No, yeah, you can definitely work on it, but it all comes down to communication.
Oh my God.
But then also too, sometimes it's okay to realize that this is not for me. You shouldn't stay in something just because I've been in it.
Yeah, and I think the reason why people are scared is because you've been in this relationship. There's security in it. There's security. There's predictability.
Okay.
You know, you know how the relationship goes. It's comfortable. You're
Isn't that boring though, a little
familiar.
bit?
No, not necessarily. What you mean?
I don't know. Some people might say this is boring, like the chick from Love Is Blind. Like she needs somebody. She needs someone who's like a little fucked up a little bit.
We're talking about Jackie and Marshall. If you watch Love Is Blind, and she was like, "I need you to like slap me around. I need." She wanted like
slap me around.
Yeah. Well, that's more like about just sex, but she was just toxic. She just wanted like a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, that just shows like the type of relationships you've had in the past.
Yeah.
But I just think the comfort of it all is a big reason why it's so hard to leave a relationship, because also you might still love the person. It's not necessarily that you don't love them anymore, but you also know that there's something more you want and they can't give it to you. Maybe you've even communicated it. You've even expressed
what
what
do you do when
want.
they can't give it to you?
You have to take the risk and say bye-bye.
But why is that a risk?
It's a risk because
You're
what
losing comfort. You're starting
Right.
over pretty much.
Yeah, and also because what if you break up and that's when you realize I fucked up? You can't go back. I mean, you can, but it's hard.
And some people do that.
What?
Break up and then see how life is without that person, and then they're like, hey, I don't know, like as the other person, are you taking them back?
It's hard to say. That's what I'm saying. Relationship, that's why I want to preface it like it's very circumstantial.
Yeah.
But, you know, and what if taking a risk with a relationship of maybe you meet somebody and whatever, and then you've been together for a couple months or even like a year, and you would say like at a year it's still kind of a new, like not it's a new relationship, but it's not a super long one, and then
Year
one of
is
the
pretty new.
partners has to move to a new state or something, a new city.
Are you moving
Do
with them?
you with the other person take the risk and put that risk on this relationship, so then later on you're where you moved with them, but then you keep holding that against them as like, I moved here for you.
That's wrong.
I did all that for you.
Yeah, if you're listening, I hope you're not doing that shit.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
fucked up. That risk, you assumed it on yourself.
But then
Like,
also, why are you moving with someone across the country after 1 year? That's too soon.
I would
sorry.
have done that with you. But I just
don't
knew
know.
that we would, you know.
Yeah, you just knew for some reason. We gotta get into.
We got to get into that. I don't know how much to get into it because I feel like it's just
It just is what it
just
is.
faith.
Yeah, I just knew that shit. So the same thing with jobs also. Leaving your job and let's say you want to do something creative. Let's say you want to start a podcast or YouTube, but you have this good job that pays you well. You pay your rent, but then you know that you're not passionate about it. You hate your job. Every
Yeah.
day you clock in, you're like, damn, what the fuck am I doing here?
And maybe it's
We're
not
all-
even necessarily like a job that's really good. It could be just a job that's
Any job.
secure
Yeah.
in like that traditional, like I make enough money to sustain my lifestyle.
pay my rent and have food every month for the rest of the year.
But it's not a job that I'm necessarily passionate about. It's
No.
not a job that, but maybe in like the societal way of things, it's a job that a lot of people are like, no, but stay here for another 5-6 years. You'll see, you'll get to where you want to go.
As in like moving up the ranks.
Yeah, moving up the ranks, like maxing out on whatever money you can make at this place. There's so many jobs, like every place is different.
So leaving a job like that,
To do something that's more risky, more not as secure, unconventional.
yes, I would I don't want to say I would advise. I'm not an advisor, but I just want to say that if that was me,
We already know.
I would probably I don't want to say I would quit my job,
Yeah.
but I would definitely keep my hobby, especially if you're like making money from that hobby, like even if it's just $50 per painting.
Yeah.
keep doing that for like a year, 2 or 3, while you keep in your job, because nobody wants to be out here homeless or with no food, right?
Right, of course.
But people also have to be okay with letting go of security or like any type of luxury. Like you want to have a nice apartment, but you want to follow this dream, you better move out and find you some roommates and get a room, just like how I did. Like the house I stayed in was terrible.
With roommates.
But it was the lowest rent I could find in Seattle. And I was like, okay, cool. And I actually didn't even care.
It was part of the journey.
It was like, I'm staying here. Some of my roommates are dirty. They're not cleaning after themselves. The bathroom. You remember the bathroom, right?
Oh.
Yeah, let's not talk about the bathroom. So...
You just had to do what you had to do.
Yeah, exactly. I could have stayed somewhere where it was like a little bit nicer, but that also means more pressure to make more money from photography. Yeah. And you never know when it's coming. You never know when the next thing is. So I was like, let me get anyways, I talked about that earlier. Yeah. But so, and that was really like a humbling experience. So you have to do that.
And I don't know. I just think it's so beautiful to take a chance on something that you truly believe in and believe in your ability to do it. And taking a risk that to other people on the outside might feel super scary and like stupid. I've heard that before from people of like decisions, and they're like, damn, like that, you took such a risk with that or whatever.
Yeah.
And
people
like,
don't understand.
Yeah.
But usually it's the people who never took a risk in their life.
Yes. Or people who can't even imagine doing something like that.
But they just don't have that thing in them. Like later on, like if our daughter wants to or our son wants to take a risk, we're totally going to understand.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're totally good. We would actually tell them like, yo.
Try shit.
Travel, go. Do you know how scary it is to leave your home country where you're comfortable and just move to a completely new country?
Yeah.
Not city, not neighborhood. It's scary, but I mean, hey.
How do we get to the country and city?
No, I don't know. I was just talking about like just taking a risk and not be comfortable. I hate being comfortable.
Honestly, me too. That's the reason
I hate it.
I couldn't wait. If I get too comfortable, it's boring.
Yes. I never lived in any country more than 6 years.
Me too.
Never.
Me too. I never
was
lived,
always, yeah. Oh, is it exactly 6? Yeah.
For me, it was like 6 years with my grandma. So now with my parents and my grandma and grandpa. Then 6 years with my parents and my siblings. Then 6 years in Canada. And then now it's about to be 6 years in Seattle. And then... to be continued.
Yeah, I think it's just, but we also understand that that's not for everyone. Like some people are just okay with and that's fine. If you're okay, if you love your job and you work, at any job, I don't know what it is. If you like it.
I mean, sometimes people don't need to take a risk. Like sometimes this place that they're in, like if you're a doctor or something, it's like you went through the school and all that, which in and of itself, it's a risk to like spend all that money on that type of education and then failing. Like the failing is a possibility no matter what you do.
Exactly. So you might as well take a risk.
So you might as well go towards something that you actually want. And it's not the safe choice, but it's the choice that at the end of the day, it's like, we're going to live for a long ass time. We're on this planet. Technically, if your life doesn't get fucked up, like you're going to live for a long time here.
Yeah.
So might as well try to make something or do something at some point, because time.
What did I say earlier? I was like, life is not about surviving, but it's about living it up.
That's not what you said, but yeah.
Okay, living it up, wow, same thing.
No, because living it up.
It sounds better when you say living it up. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't want to go in circles. I feel like you get what we're saying.
Yeah.
If you work at a job and you have a hobby, keep working on that hobby. Don't quit your job. Don't make a stupid decision, because that exists also. And
also, what if maybe you just don't have that hobby, but let's say you have a more conventional job, but you always had this dream of like trying to be an actor. It's like that was always a dream, like a childhood dream, but everybody kind of, you never got the chance to even try it. So you don't even know if you're good or not.
What do you mean not a chance to try it?
Never
You
got a
have to
chance
make
to try
that.
it. Like as a kid, let's say you always had a dream of being an actor, but you just, your parents made you continue on that conventional
Yeah, as a kid,
path.
I understand.
Yeah, and then you grow up, but then let's say you wake up at 30 and you're like, damn, I still always wanted to try that.
But you can still try it at 30 is what I'm saying.
I know. So what I'm saying is sometimes there's things that you just got to do even if you're old.
Oh, yeah.
And old as in like not a child. And it's not a hobby yet is what my point is, because you kept saying a hobby, but it's like, what about just something that you've never even tried before and you're an adult and then you've always wanted to do?
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you want to be an actor, here's a very easy way, because there's a time I wanted to do it. You go on Google, whatever city you live in, you type in New York City acting auditions. You're going to find so much shit, and all you got to do is find a date and show up to the audition.
Yeah.
You don't have to know anything. And then also you'll be surprised, these scouting people, they're looking for a specific look.
Yeah.
So if you
also like ability,
but if we're looking for a blonde girl with like dark eyebrows, like it's gonna give you that upper hand. Anyways, you can do a lot of shit out there. Okay.
So I did want to talk specifically about just failing, because I think it's a big part of taking a risk. And
yes, 100%.
When you fail, meaning you took a risk towards this one direction or outcome or goal, and then it just didn't work. Clearly it didn't happen. Such as like maybe you moved to a new city, and because for this one job or this one opportunity, and then a year later completely didn't work out and you got to move back from where you came from. You know, I think that's just an example. There's many examples, but I think there's two sides of the coin to failing. And just like when you feel like you've failed. Okay,
break it down for us.
There's the internal feeling and then there's the external feeling. Ooh. The internal one. Sorry. Not the background commentary. I think the internal feeling is basically you acknowledging that you have failed and you acknowledging that you did not succeed, whatever you took a risk to do. And there's that. And there's the other side, which is all the people in your life admitting and acknowledging your failure and the fact that you didn't make or achieve what you wanted to. And how I think the external feeds a lot of the internal. Of how like when people in your life basically tell you like it's not working out, or like it seems like it's not really doing so well, or things like that. It's starting to make me too, all the time.
With
like
photography.
Pretty much my entire life actually.
Yeah.
Of people just telling me like, so don't you think like it's not really working for you? Like, don't you think you should quit dance? Like, you know how much I heard that before I made the decision to do it?
Like how many times?
Like years.
Yeah, I mean, same. The funny thing is our stories are kind of similar. Maybe that's why we understand each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big
people
part
told
of it.
me, "Oh, photography, are you sure?" And with photography, by the way, I'm still not where I want to be.
Yeah.
Like speaking right now, you know, like there's so much shit I want to do. So I'm very well in the journey right now, you know. But I don't know, like something about it is just so satisfying. Like a lot of people are scared of the unknown, but to me, just being in it and being still in the journey of figuring things out. How do I do this? I want to do this and I don't know how to get to it. To me, it's
and it's exciting.
Is it weird to say that it's inspiring? It's like I think about, I don't know if it's weird, but like I think about my own journey and I'm like, I'm really in this. Like later on, I'll have a story to tell. And so
you're kind of like, in a way, not to make it sound like narcissistic, but you're your own inspiration.
Exactly.
That's fire.
And I don't know if it's weird to say or not, but I'm just going to be honest, guys, okay? And you can even ask my sister, not that you guys know my sister, but I always just have this vision in my mind. Like if I close my eyes, I always just know that one day I'm going to be on a podcast. Okay, it's going to be a podcast or an interview or something like that, and they're going to ask me questions about my life and what I did, and in every detail, I'll be able to tell you guys what I did, why I made that choice, what was I going through, and I always envision that. Like I always just know that one day I'm going to, because I honestly just want to also just share my story and just tell people like. I don't know, like when you said I'm my own inspiration, that really like fucked me up a little bit because it's like so true, but I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, but I also think there's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, I would say kind of same. Sometimes I look at all of the decisions that I've made and like the work ethic that I've had around certain things and what I've been able to achieve, that anytime I'm met with a new challenge or I'm getting into like a new part of the journey, I feed off of what I've accomplished already and what I've been able to do, and I use that to help me get through the next thing.
Because you know that any challenge you can overcome it.
Yeah, because I look at the proof of what I've done before. Yeah, and then I take that and I get strength from what I've already achieved, and then I power through the next challenge.
Same,
the next
exactly. Thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's where confidence is. Right,
but then just also just that alone is inspiring. Obviously, there's lots of people that I always love watching interviews and podcasts when people talk about their life, you know. But when I look at myself and just like the story and what I'm currently still going through, it's like the younger me is like so proud of how I hold on to it and I don't give up, you know, because it's so easy to give up. You know how hard shit was, and I'm just like, do I just want to like, I don't know, like go back to Belgium and just, I don't know, like it's very easy to give up on something, but like no matter how hard it is, you have to like hold on to that shit.
Yeah, it's like the same saying where people, I mean, I don't know if it's this saying, but it's like nothing good comes easy.
Yeah.
Nothing that's actually good and like meaningful and powerful comes without effort, without discomfort, without growth. Like if you're not, I just think that if you don't take a risk and you don't get out of that comfort zone and you stay the same in the same place you've been in the last, let's say like 3 years, you have the same job, you live in the same place, you have the same, like just nothing's really changed for you, and you don't take a risk of getting out of that, which means like getting uncomfortable, of like maybe you move to a new place because you want change. You want change, but you're scared. So it takes a risk for you to get out of that. But if you don't take a risk, there will be no growth. If you don't make a change, nothing will change. Simple as that.
That's so true. I mean,
you can't just like wish for things to be different, but then you don't put action into anything.
Yeah.
You don't make a specific intentional change that is calculated.
Yeah, but you also just really have to visualize and just really imagine you doing that thing. I don't know if you kind of, because people think about it different ways. I 100%, when I close my eyes, I see exactly what I want to do with photography and podcasting.
I would say with podcasting is a little bit more clear. With my own YouTube things, I think right now where I'm at, I'm kind of figuring out, I'm kind of in that.
Like what's next kind of thing?
Exactly, yeah. I'm trying to figure out what's like, because I'm evolving as a person, personally. Like I'm just evolving myself. So I need to see how can I take the content and the work that I do and make it evolve with me and not feel like I'm still where I was before. Yeah.
But see, or like right there's a thing that you have to figure out.
Yeah.
Which is that thing that's so like exciting to me. Like not knowing something like 100%. I feel like life would be so boring if I just knew everything.
I also just don't want to stay the same.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like, if you knew how life would go, would we even like try to do things?
No, if we knew how life would go, if I would be in a place right now that I just know how my life is going to be, I would be scared. That's scary to me.
Why?
I'm constantly looking for the next thing that's coming and changing.
Yeah.
I would say in the last 6 years, or no, in the last 4 years since I've stopped dancing, every year there's been something new.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we lived in 4 different apartments.
Yeah, even just something as that. The place you live, people you meet, friends you make, jobs you have, projects you do, personal journeys you go on. If it's a fitness journey, if it's a spiritual journey, if it's a
hair journey, you know?
Exactly. Anything like that. And it's really beautiful. And you have no idea how you're going to feel until you do it. I had no idea how I was going to feel with this blonde hair. Now I know. Now I can move forward. It's the same thing with simple things like this or bigger things like life decisions of moving to a new city or changing your job or something like that.
Yeah. You can't be scared to do things, honestly. And if you are, then nothing will change for you.
I know. And most people, I just think, especially when you're young, when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
I feel like
I would purposely go fuck up.
Yeah, that's the time. Like this is, and I mean, you can fuck up really anytime. However, when you're in those beginning years, like especially 20s and 30s, I think you really can't listen
to your parents.
Those older people that are now in their 60s and 70s, and they're in that time of their life where all they want is security. They've already had their big chunk of life has already happened for them.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to figure out, how am I going to like really settle down, be comfortable, not work anymore, all that. They're in a different stage of their life. And I understand they have knowledge and wisdom that they can share with you being a younger person. And I'll take it. But I'm also not going to take it, and that's the only thing that I'm going to listen to.
Yeah, oh no.
So often we're listening to our elders, whoever they are for you, and we really take their advice in this like absolute way where you don't really let any other truth be real, where it's like, no, like I hear you, and like you have a good point there, but I'm still going to take a chance on this because this is new, this is different. And the only thing that can come out of it, the only two options is like it works out and it doesn't. But guess what? Either way, I will be fine. If this doesn't work out, if maybe for whatever reason the podcast in 3 years doesn't exist anymore, we'll figure it out. You will be fine. However, I'm going to take the risk and keep doing this thing that has no security, that depends on people liking us and wanting to listen to us. I'm going to keep doing that because guess what? There's a very possible outcome that is going to succeed and it's going to be good and it's going to continue to grow. So I'm going to believe in that.
Yeah. And in 3 years, by the way, it'll still be here. Okay.
I was just using it as an example.
I know. That's a great example. And I think older people always, not even just necessarily older people, I think people who don't like chances and risk, they will tell you, oh, you want to move to New York to pursue photography and whatever else. There's so many photographers out there. Like, how do you think you're going to succeed when you go to a city where there's
just more competition for the same thing?
Way more competition.
But also, guess what? There's also way more opportunities there.
There's way more opportunities. And also, and it goes back to me not thinking, when I have a new idea, I don't think about how it's going to fail. I don't.
That's so true.
When I have an idea, I do not think about, but it could also not work because of A, B, C. I'm thinking about all the ways it can work.
You don't let that infiltrate your brain because once it does, you can't take it out.
Yeah.
And it fucks up your momentum and like the way to get there.
Yeah. And it's something that, like I said earlier, I don't do it on purpose to not think about those things. Like I just don't work that way.
Yeah.
If I want to try podcasting, I never thought about like, like what if it's not gonna work? Like I just knew, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's go. Photography. This is what you want to do. Let's go.
Yeah. The only reason why I've thought about it is because of those parents.
Oh, like doubting
anything.
Yeah.
And that's because that was ingrained in me from when I was dancing.
Yeah. Why did you say, why did you jump when I said I don't think about how things could go wrong. I feel
Oh, you know why? Because I do, as I was just saying.
Yeah.
And I speak it to you, like I tell you that.
Oh,
like-
when I tell you something?
Yeah, you tell me something. It could be something about the pod. It could be something about your
be
own
like-
shit, whatever.
I would be like, babe, what if we did this, but then we added this on top of that, and then we have...
I mean, no. Sometimes you just add hell shit. I'm like, babe, we don't have time.
Okay, but continue with your example.
But
I
feel as if there's been many instances where we were talking about something career, job wise, and I would immediately infiltrate some type of doubt and like potential failure and how like the potential ways things could go wrong for it to fail and not work out. And I would bring those into the conversation, you know? And then you immediately would be like, I didn't even think about that. Like, and there's, and there's kind of like, I get why we would think about it, but there's kind of no way, like, think about it and then let it go. Don't keep it. Don't keep thinking about it because it's going to
keep you...
that noise is going to distract you.
Yeah, babe.
If you truly, and honestly, it's kind of beneficial to just kind of put blinders on a little bit and turn a blind eye to the potential failure and the many ways shit could go wrong. Sometimes it's good to acknowledge it and maybe figure out ways to avoid that by doing something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just like dealing with things as they come. So I have this new idea and I'm putting those blinds on and I'm just going. That's it. Of course, things can go wrong.
And things will go wrong.
You can go outside and some shit can happen to you. That's just life.
Yeah.
So if I have something that I want to introduce or I want to try something new, let's try it and not think about how it can go wrong. And then if it goes wrong, it's like, oh shit, okay. Well, let's fix it. And we either stop doing it or we fix it and continue.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
if you give those ideas of how things can go wrong too much power, it will take over.
That shit comes alive.
And then the more you doubt something, it will actually like affect your just ability to do it, do the thing you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so true. I don't know. The brain is like funny. I just don't understand how if you want to do something, but you're thinking about how it cannot work. To me, that doesn't make sense.
You're inhibiting yourself from succeeding.
Doing the thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Do we want to do a quick little off topic?
Quick little off topic. Yeah, let's go. My jam of the week. The Weeknd came out with a new song.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it yet. Is it good?
No, it's good. It's good. It's the soundtrack for The Idol. The show.
Oh, the show. Yeah. I'm excited to watch it.
I'm not familiar with The Idol.
It's
so is this like
it's
like
gonna come out
sequel?
on HBO. It's a series, like I don't know if it's gonna be a TV show or just a limited series. Like it's just these many episodes and then it's done. But it's about like I don't know. It's coming out. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. But I've been listening to Durand Jones.
Durand Jones.
Yeah, do you know who that is?
Durant Jones. Durand Jones.
Durand
no,
Jones.
I don't. What is that?
And the Indications. Durand Jones and the Indications. Anyways, this is actually a playlist. It's a radio that when we went to one of those San Francisco, that really good vintage store, Afterlife Collective, and when we were in there, the guy was playing this radio on Spotify because it's Durand Jones and the Indications. It's their radio.
Did you Shazam it?
No, I asked him. I was like, what is this? What are you playing or whatever? Or I said like, oh, this is a really nice. Is this a playlist?
Right, and you could have Shazammed it, but as you guys know, when Ali is out of town, she loves to talk.
I do.
So she's gonna go and ask.
I'm gonna find a reason to talk to you.
Exactly.
Which is so unlike me.
It's so unlike you, but it's so you. You know.
It's so me for when I travel. Yeah. So I asked him, and then he just told me. And then it's the radio for Durand Jones and the Indications
on Spotify.
On Spotify, yeah, it's the radio for them.
Yeah.
And it's so fire. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like funk / Motown a little bit. I could be so wrong by these categories, but
Alia has a hard time identifying genres.
I do. It's a little bit of what's that guy's name? Leon Bridges. Why was I going like this?
Yo, Leon Bridges is
It's
the
like
guy.
his vibe.
Teskey Brothers is still my jams, you guys. You know, people send me screenshots of them listening to the Teskey Brothers. Yeah. They're coming out with a new album pretty soon. I've been listening to them a lot also.
Nice.
But I wanted to go back to the Shazam thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a car with someone and they're playing a song and you just, let's say you're in the back seat, and instead of asking, yo, who is this?
You just Shazam it?
No, I'm not saying I'm doing it.
No, yeah, I know. Like
but
you, the person.
Do you, like, there's people who do that.
The reason why they do that is because they don't want to feel like they don't know the thing.
Yeah, or they don't know the song.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, I'm not going to lie, you know what? I did that before. Not that. I'm going to give you an example of what I did.
What'd you do?
Someone is telling me about a song.
Like they're telling you that it's good?
That it's good, yeah. Or like, have you listened to this? Or like, this new album dropped. What do you think? People always ask me for like my thoughts on like album reviews.
Okay. And what?
And I said, oh yeah, I listened to it. Because I didn't want to seem like
you're not up with the trends. Like you're not caught up.
I didn't listen. Yeah, exactly. And I've done that before. And then after I do it,
you're like, why the fuck did I do that?
I'm like, what the fuck did I just lie? I just lied for no reason.
Damn, that's so unlike you. That's something that I would do.
I don't do that anymore. But I remember doing that a lot. Like when someone
definitely.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I have definitely done the thing.
I feel like you still do that though.
Me?
Yeah, you still, the thing with the music, I feel like you still do it.
I didn't even finish what I was saying.
Okay.
I was gonna say that I do the thing where
do the thing.
I do the thing where if I like a song that someone is playing, I don't want to ask what the song is.
Why?
Because there's something about like
not knowing a song. What is it? You know how many songs there are? You're not supposed to. What do you just expect me to know all songs?
I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird.
But then again, if you reverse it and you tell someone and you show someone a song,
satisfying.
People love to put other people's on new music.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
It's
I
like
love doing that with restaurants.
What do you mean with restaurants?
Like if I take people to a place they've never been before and it's fire.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me all the credit.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about restaurants.
Yeah.
We can go somewhere. I will, even with just with music, if you put me onto some new shit, I'm going to be like, thank you. Like,
you know what's funny?
But people hate that. People always want to say, oh yeah, I already knew about them. And then they go look it up.
You low-key do that sometimes. There's songs or there's artists that I put you on that you don't give me credit for.
Like who? Who did you put me on? You guys watch. This is a test, real time. Who?
Snow Allegra.
Are you kidding me?
Babe, to this day you don't remember, but I showed you one of her old ass songs. Like nobody knew about Snow Allegra at this time.
That's when it was like the comic cover?
Exactly.
Did you really?
I swear to you.
All right, I'm going to give it to you.
And also Katra. Katranada. Yep.
I knew Katranada.
Babe, I'm telling you.
I knew Katranada.
I knew Katranada because when I was in Toronto, he was bringing up.
Yo, there's a thing about people in Toronto. They love to say, I'm from Toronto.
Okay, first of all, I'm not from Toronto.
Like, why people love to claim Toronto? I understand it's cool.
Why?
Now.
Because first of all, it's one of the best cities ever. If you've been, you know. And, which we need to go, by the way. And there's hella artists from Toronto that it's like if you live there for a long time.
People from Toronto think they're so cool because they're from the same city as
I'm
Drake.
not from Toronto though, because I don't want anyone listening to this to think that I'm from.
If you're from Toronto, we want to come visit.
We should go.
But I really think Drake has a lot to do with that pride of Toronto.
Oh, definitely.
But if you're wrong, please let me know because I don't know.
I mean, I would say that as somebody who lived there for 6 years. But that was also 6 years ago. So
now when I remember hearing about Toronto before Drake. I was like, Toronto. Like I only knew like Toronto Raptors, like the team, and they weren't very good.
But then they won that championship.
But then that's way after Drake.
Yeah, that's true.
But then when Drake came and he's from Toronto and this kid and he's black, but he's also mixed with white, but he can rap.
And he was on Degrassi, yeah.
And I used to watch you guys, if you're listening to this, there's the show called Degrassi, The Next Generation. Drake was on there as Jimmy on a wheelchair. I used to watch that shit in Belgium all the time. I never knew.
Watched it.
I never knew that was Drake. And then when a song comes out called Brand New, listen to a song called Brand New. That was the first Drake song I ever heard. Back in like 2009, I think.
That's, I was like, that's an old
Is
song.
everything I'm doing brand new? Yeah, that one, it's a good song.
Yeah.
So I never watched the video. And then I think Successful came out with Trey Songz. And then I saw the video and I was like, wait, is that Jimmy? Is that Jimmy for Degrassi? Anyways, shout out to Drake.
Shout out to
a lot of people
Drake.
love to hate on Drake.
We love Drake and his family.
But we're not going to get into that. One day we should do like a music debate podcast episode.
All right, I'm down. Even though we'll probably agree. It's not going to be a debate. It's going to be just an agreement.
That's going to be a very boring podcast episode.
Anything else? I feel like that's about it for the off topic.
Yeah, that's definitely it for the off topic.
When this episode comes out, guess what else is out?
What? Oh, the merch.
The What's the Juice tote. When this comes out, that will probably be out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to drop at the same time. I can't remember.
So,
I don't know when we're dropping them.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, hurry up to the online shop because we have a limited edition. I mean, limited amount.
Yeah. Well, we just didn't really know how this was going to go. So we just got about 140 of them.
Yeah. So we didn't know how many people were actually going to get them. So this was just like a small test.
Yeah.
So if you put a reminder on Instagram.
Babe, by this time, I think they're already like...
Got it?
Like gone.
Okay. And I hope you were able to get one, which we really don't know how it's going.
I really have no idea how it's going to go. But if you didn't get one and you want one, we're going to probably make more.
Yeah.
Like,
no, we're definitely
going to make more. Yeah. It's just trying to see like if people even like it, if people even want it.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. If you made it to the end of this podcast, write this in the comment section. Tote bag.
Okay, fair.
Because it's tote bag day.
Yeah, tote bag. Oh, tote bag day.
Yeah.
So exciting. Guys, we've been sitting on these totes for like 2 months. It's time I want them out of the apartment.
Yeah, I want them out of here. It's actually taking up space.
Yeah, I'm so excited to pack it up and just whoop.
I know. I'm excited to, we really doing our best with shipping everywhere we can.
Yes. And also being able to ship at this time, like... This is our first time doing it. It's the two of us. We're not like a company. So financially, like eventually, hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be able to offer like free shipping or shipping with like, depending on your, you know what I mean? Like
free shipping.
No, like, you know how some places do free shipping if your order is over $150?
Oh, yeah,
or something
I
like
definitely want to do that.
In the summer, like, we'll have some extra fun things, hopefully.
The totes are just the beginning of what we'll
bring out. Yeah, because, we want What's the Juice. It's going to become its own thing. If everything goes well and we're taking that risk.
This is a risk.
Yeah,
like,
it
perfect
is.
example. Like, we don't know if 10 people are going to buy the totes.
Exactly. And we invested money. We invested hella time resources and all that.
Yeah.
And we don't know how it's going to come up. But all you can do is hope for the best.
Exactly. Perfect example of a risk.
Yeah.
Write in the comment, tote bags. Should we say tote bag day?
Tote bag day.
Tote bag day.
Or just tote day.
No.
Anyways.
Now we're confusing the people. Everybody's
tote bag day. Okay, we're gonna sign out because today's Sunday and we want to, also enjoy the day.
My sister's in town. Too bad she wasn't here. She could have maybe popped in. Yeah. That'd be so cool if you can just have a guest.
She looks exactly like you.
That is true. That is true. She's my twin. You guys will see her. Oh, and she made this.
Ooh, if you caught that.
Yeah.
I still don't know how she made it exactly, but it's our first fan art.
Yes, she made that. Thank you very much, Leora. We love you on this podcast. Yeah. So nice. And she was like, I made you guys something, but
when someone says I made you guys something, I'm thinking like, what could it be?
No,
because as an adult, you don't really make things.
Yeah, you do.
What do you make?
You make. There's artists. There's people who make things.
I'm saying most people don't say I made you something. Because as an adult, you don't really make things. Like kids would say I made you something. It's like a little something.
Why did you use that voice?
I made you something.
No, it's I just wanted to say something about a gift that someone makes with their hand is more
meaningful.
More meaningful.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Of course.
See right there, I was blanking on the word meaningful because I was saying it in French or in Dutch in my head.
Really?
See, that's why sometimes you gotta understand.
That's the first time you ever admitted that.
Okay, because it's something that I don't even realize that I'm doing. Because I know what the word meaningful means.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, my throat kind of hurts. So we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Follow the pod on What's the Juice Pod on Instagram. And leave a comment below with what we said, tote bag day.
Yes, one of those tote bag day.
Whatever you want. Just leave us a comment, you know, a review, what you thought, the most recent risk you took. Shout out to your family. Shout out to your friends. Tell your friends about the pod. Spread the word.
Spread the word. Yes, I would like to see people's risk. Something small. Don't write like a whole essay in the comment section.
Yeah.
But after you write tote bag, just say what's a little risk you took.
Yeah, or what's a risk like you want to take but you haven't.
Yeah, one of those things. All right, guys, we're gonna sign out. I'm hot in this.
Shout out to your dog.
Oh, I haven't said that in so many episodes, I feel like.
No, you've said it.
Okay, I have.
Yeah.
Shout out to your dog. Okay, bye.
Love you guys. Bye.